We have an amazing lineup of some really, really cool guests. In this season, I want to totally spotlight law enforcement. We're going to kick it off with Wayne Bullier, who is from the Police Academy across the street, Broward College. So he's going to talk about entry-level training, recruit training, what goes into the curriculum. A whole bunch of other guests that are going to come on that are going to talk about family relationships within police families. And we're going to have our very own dean on, Dr. Durham. Remember, this is the brainchild of Dr. Durham to do investigation with Dr. T. It's her idea. She is going to talk about what is it like to be a mother of a first responder. One of the things that I really hope the audiences will come away with is an understanding and an appreciation and an empathic view of police officers.
Hi, everybody. Dr. Grace Telesco here. Very excited to have my guest and friend. I'd like to call him my friend. I hope he calls me a friend as well. We've done a lot of work together. We've collaborated together, and he's just a really wonderful human being. Paul Turner currently serves as the Director of Public Safety and Emergency Management for Nova Southeastern University. And he has over 20 years experience with the U.S. Coast Guard, working directly with myriad federal, state, and local entities. Mr. Turner spent 2 years under the United States State Department in Southwest Asia as an advisor to the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia. That's a whole show on its own. Next season, I got to get him back to talk about that. His vast emergency management background consists of responses to major natural and man-made disasters, including Hurricane Katrina, Maria, the U.S. Airways Flight 1549, Miracle on the Hudson, and the South Texas Queen Isabella Causeway collapse. Mr. Turner's formal education consists of a bachelor's of business administration from Stephen Austin State University and a master's in emergency management and homeland security from Arizona State University. Please help me welcome Mr. Paul Turner. I'm so happy that you're here. So happy that you are here.
Thank you very much for having me. I'd like to start with that. I appreciate it. I know we tried to do this about a year ago and weren't able to make it. So I'm super happy to be here and talk things I love. So
awesome. So talk a little bit about yourself, because you have so many amazing, and that's just the tip of the iceberg. When you're high up there and somebody asks you for your bio, you can't say everything. I mean, it's not a resume, right? It's not a CV. It's a bio and it's short, but that doesn't hardly explain all that you are and all that you've done. Because I know you're also commanding officer at the Coast Guard in Fort Lauderdale, that base, right?
Correct. Yep. Yes, I did serve as a commanding officer in Fort Lauderdale, which is probably one of my highest achievements. Getting to run 300 men and women in those operations. So definitely was proud to be a part of that. And
so tell us a little bit about this trajectory and how how does it all start for you?
Well, it's just I didn't know what I wanted to do, like most kids. I knew I wanted to serve. I played a lot of sports, and my goal was always to play college basketball, and that was it. And that was the only plan. It was plan A, plan B, plan C. So when that was a little bit tough for me, when I graduated high school in Texas, I tried to walk on at Stephen F. Austin State University. Definitely wasn't good enough at the time. So I kind of just, started taking business classes and wasn't doing that well. It wasn't, I had that, like I said, one plan, and I thought, okay, what can I do? What can I do? What am I excited about? And the Coast Guard came to mind. I was like, I love the water, loved its humanitarian service. You're getting a little bit of law enforcement. You're getting a little bit of just service, and it's domestic. It's kind of some things I was thinking about, and I said, okay, school hasn't worked out for me. Let me go into the Coast Guard for 4 years, get the GI Bill, and come back, be a little bit more mature, and let's attack this school. Went in for the first 6 years, stuck to the plan. Actually got out, went to the inactive ready reserve, and went back to Stephen F. Austin and finished that business degree. And then this is kind of where my life changed. I was going to go work corporate America, work in the business sector. And I had received a call from my previous commanding officer and said, "Hey, we're creating a maritime law enforcement academy in Charleston, South Carolina. We're going to be accredited. We're going to be the seventh federal law enforcement agency to be accredited. We want you to be a part of that. Please come back in. Let's set up this academy." And I never looked back from that point. It was, I said, great. I was excited to take on that responsibility. We were accredited a year later and actually served at that unit twice during my 20 years. And kind of how this all started.
Wow. Really, that's really amazing and something. And I want to point out to our students who are watching either in the webinar, attending, or watching on YouTube, anybody who's going to watch this either tonight live or archived, that they should know that it's really important that we make these connections, because when we make these connections and we network and we're just good and we shine, you'd be surprised how your whole career can change with one person who was watching you and was impressed by you and puts you in a position where you're gonna shine. And I like that happened to me too with the chief of personnel in NYPD. We crossed paths. He liked my work. He saw something in me that maybe I didn't even see in myself, and then he made me the commanding officer of the recruitment section, and then my career just like from that point. And I mean, he wasn't like my sugar daddy or anything. It was like legit. He saw something in me, and may he rest in peace. He's in heaven now. Hopefully, he's an angel for me. But like Michael Markman, man, I mean, if it wasn't for him, my career would not have taken the beautiful trajectory that it took. So that's kind of like what you're describing. And then what happened? So what happens after that?
Well, I mean, throughout up to that point, a lot of positive things happened of, kind of just kept drawing me back to this service. And this is what I wanted to do because other opportunities, came up. But it just something about the Coast Guard. And then 9/11 happened. And then after 9/11 happened, I was in the right spot this is the organization that's going to lead the newly implemented Department of Homeland Security. So I kind of fit right into. I took that as an opportunity. How negative that happened. I did whatever I could to serve this country after that, and I was stuck. I was staying 20 years no matter what. So immediately after 9/11, we went from Department of Transportation to DHS. So our law enforcement capabilities, authority just grew through the roof, and I took my law enforcement qualifications. I felt like I led the way, with some of the units that I was at in those areas, and kind of just set me up for the next year 21, 22, 23 outside of the Coast Guard.
And then NSU. How did NSU come to you, or how did you come to us?
So I retired. I went to as I went through my progression. I was at Sector New York as a command duty officer. That led me to the commanding officer at Station Fort Lauderdale. Then leaving there, you kind of get the pick of what the jobs you want. And I said, you know what, just to really top off my career, I think, an overseas tour would be something that, I could be proud of moving forward. And so the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia, working under the State Department banner, came available and signed up for it. Did 3 or 4 months of pre-deployment training, shipped overseas, and, was living deep in country. Sometimes I was, at the embassy. Sometimes I was at Escon Village, and then sometimes I was just deep in the country, dealing with the locals. And it was just a wonderful 2-year experience. And I feel like we really helped the United States in our relationship with Saudi Arabia at the time. We're all, it's very important to us for many reasons. Economic reasons, of course, is oil. And for us to have a foothold there in the Middle East, is always good for the country. So that, and when that ended, 20 years came, that ended. I thought, okay, what's next for me? So I was like, okay, let's implement this business degree. So I got out, started an emergency management consulting firm. About that time, storms were starting to pick up. FEMA money was flowing. Hurricane Maria hit Puerto Rico in 2017. I didn't have any leads, no contracts, nothing. So I got on a plane, one-way ticket, flew to Puerto Rico and said, "Hey, how am I going to help?
Wow.
How am I getting involved with this?" Well, a year later, I've created a company with employees, multiple federal contracts, and took off from there for the next, so 2021, sold the business. And then while the business was for sale, I saw Nova Southeastern came up. I wanted to, dip my toe in the higher ed, the K through 12 emergency management side.
Hmm.
And I applied for emergency management coordinator, received the job, and was here 3 months when this director of public safety job opened up. And they asked me to apply, which I was highly honored by that.
Right.
Applied. It's a nationwide search. Went through the process, and I was asked to step in as the interim and received the job about 6 months later.
Awesome. And we've done so much collaboration, the School of Criminal Justice with public safety, starting with the Run, Hide, Fight film. It wasn't a film, it was a video. And it was, but I'm Hollywood, so it's a film. No, anyway, we worked together with Pat McGowan at the time. I think that Pat was doing the training, what Teresa Crawford is doing now, I think. Now he's doing the other stuff.
Yeah, he's
He's
doing clearing and
he's doing
accreditation.
clearing accreditation. But we work together with public safety to create a film, a video. It was really more of a training video about school shootings and what to do. Literally run, hide, fight, understand it's fluid, all of that. So then we started doing trainings with you guys. So it was this beautiful collaboration between the School of Criminal Justice and public safety. And then we had the beautiful gift and opportunity to create those other videos, right? And I'm going to have you talk all about it. Escorts and the blue light and all of that stuff, emergency notification, safe watch, all of that stuff that those videos were about, and I hope they're being used. Um, but we could talk about that offline. But anyway, it was great to collaborate with you guys. So professional, and I think undervalued. Honestly, I think that those videos that we made really highlight, showcase who public safety officers are, the professionalism of them, and I think that they're underappreciated too and undervalued. And maybe it's because people just don't really take them for granted and they don't really know like what do they do. But me having been involved in the video project, I really appreciate what you all do and how professional you are and how competent you are and how caring and empathic you are, yet at the same time doing the job. So you want to talk a little bit about some of the strategies and initiatives at public safety?
Yeah. I think that collaboration is definitely the most important thing that we have going for us. Marketing who we are, marketing the services that we have. When I came to this department, it's just that I'm just going to be honest with you. It was kind of just negative. We have a lot of experience there. A lot of people, 25, 30 years. And I just want to say just negative. We have parking. So people were getting parking citations and they were upset about receiving citations. Things were getting stolen or lost. And it was just all this negativity coming into the department. So I just wanted to get the officers, I wanted to get the staff out in front of the students in positive environments, at Community Fest, Sharkapalooza. I wanted to get just to interact as human beings. So we all try to teach classes. I didn't bring that up. I'm teaching I teach a class in the public health program here. I teach some at Broward as well. And I just, getting out in front of the students before there's a negative interaction, it's kind of like doing a tabletop exercise in emergency management. You're getting everyone together in a positive environment, learning environment, and you're getting to know each other. So when something does happen, it's easier to build that rapport, that relationship. It opens up the students to come to us and say, "Hey, this is what's going on."
Right.
And so that's what we really worked on. And that's what these videos are kind of backing that a little bit. You'll see us, we're working with the women's volleyball team on Sexual Assault Awareness Month. We're doing Coffee with the Cop in the UC 2 or 3 times a year. So again, anything we can do to get in front of our student population, our faculty and our staff in a positive way before something happens, I think that's the key. I think that's the key, and that's what we're trying to accomplish.
So it's like it's proactive instead of reactive, right? And that's like the name of the game for all of it, whether it's law enforcement, military, or public safety in the private sector. So it's that proactive approach that I think works. And what about morale? How have you? Because I think that since you've come in, morale is better, and that means that that retention is better, right? Because I think that there was a big turnover, and granted, some of them are federal work study students, I would imagine, or NSEs or whatever, and so when they graduate, they leave, right? So, but can you talk a little bit about the morale, your people, and some of the initiatives?
Absolutely. So I think I've empowered the crew. You know, we are one of the largest non-educational entities at the school. 29, I have 129 employees. That's not counting the student workers. We normally have anywhere from 10 to 20 student workers, federal student workers, coming in and out in our emergency management program, and also on the public safety side. But just the morale is kind of empowering them. You know, we've done some work from home things. We've, like I said, just getting the members out and being able to speak to their expertise in front of the staff and faculty. That's really helped. We've done a lot of tabletop exercises to get our staff out in front. We changed the uniform a little bit. We've gone to a royal blue, more noticeable Southern Florida, looks sharp.
Looks great.
American flag on the sleeve. So just kind of encompassing, you know, this is what you do is important. We've gotten rid of some of the menial task of door openings and so forth, so the officers can go out and do something more proactive, do their rounds, you know, do some more escorts, you know, reach out to the student, be in the res halls at the right times. So I think we've given more of a purpose to our staff. And I think that's turned around to, hey, you know, we're here, we're doing something. Of course, we've worked on the pay. I mean, I can always, you know, everyone's going to say budget, pay will change everything, but that doesn't fix everything. That doesn't fix culture. So as we're trying to create this culture, then at the back end of this, I'm trying to get the pay up as we show what we can do, how, you know, how safe our campus is, how you know, few crimes are being committed on our campus. And we're a large city, make no mistake about it. You know, 22,000 total students, over 5,000 employees over this main 314-acre campus, 8 regional campuses from Denver, Colorado to Puerto Rico. So, you know, it's a city type environment. And I think we do a great job of uh, providing a service, you know, getting out in front of the needs of our customers. And our customers are the students. You know, make no mistake about that. One students, 1A faculty and staff. You know, and that's the way we look at it. And, you know, there's challenges. There's challenges in that. And some of those challenges are, you know, students don't know what they don't know yet. They don't know kind of that they're, you know, but there are vulnerabilities out there. There, you know, when you go out at 2 in the morning, you know, coming home, you know, what that looks like. And it's just kind of the norm for them that everything's okay. You know, we're always trying to work with surrounding areas, the bars, the restaurants, local establishments. Our police officers are always visiting these places just so we kind of know where our students are coming from. And again, you know, we want them to have a great experience here. We want to be seen when it's time to be seen, and we want to be step back. Hey, have your experience, but we're here if you need us. And that's kind of what we've kind of set in place as well. But we have a great group of people on the staff, and we have a great student population as well. And that's just the truth.
Right. Yeah. Can you want to talk a little bit about some of the initiatives that you have, like based on the you know, some of the videos that we helped create with you? And I'm trying to look for one to see if I could play it for everybody. But
Sure. We want to, you
that.
know, one of the big ones down here, of course, is the mass casualty. You know, we can talk about stats and how these things are, you know, happening across the country and higher ed and government institutions. So there's a mass casualty video that we created, and hey, it's run, hide, fight. We want you to know a little bit if that incident happens, what to do. So there's a video out on that. That's one of our initiatives. We have an intruder lock key initiative. And the students may or may not know this, but every one of your faculty members has what's called an intruder lock key. They can lock down a room without going into the hallway if there's an active assailant to protect the students. And it'll lock from the inside door, and every faculty member must have that key on them at all time. We have our blue light phones, and I always tell all our students, and if we're in front of orientations and sharp previews, you don't always have to use those phones if there's an issue. If you get lost or you need something, use those blue light phones, and it calls right into our security operations center. That we have someone at it 365 days a year, 24 hours a day. And if you have any questions, comments, any concerns, but you should always, when you're walking around campus, a blue light phone should be visible from pretty much anywhere throughout the campus.
If I could interrupt you 1 second, you're talking about the blue light. Let's just take a look at the video.
All of our NSU campuses are safe, and safety continues to be our #1 priority. But there may be a time when you're faced with an emergency situation or even a non-emergency situation where you need to contact public safety. We have the blue light emergency system all throughout campus, easily identifiable. These blue light phones are strategically placed across the campus for your safety. In an emergency, simply approach the nearest blue light phone, press the button to immediately connect with public safety, and your location is instantly transmitted, ensuring a swift response. Our public safety team is trained to respond quickly to any emergency, whether it's a medical emergency, suspicious activity, or you feel unsafe. The blue light system is here to help. Stay aware of your surroundings. Always know the locations of the blue light phones on campus. And remember, the blue light emergency system is available 24/7 for your peace of mind. Your safety is our priority. Utilize the blue light emergency system whenever you need help.
So that's just an example of like one of the initiatives that you have. You also have escorts. I don't even know if you may have mentioned it just like briefly, but that's something that I never even knew until we were doing the project with you, that a student who might feel afraid, it's dark, they park their car, they have to walk to their dorm, and they're a little afraid, they're a little leery, not because they see someone following them, but it's just a perception thing.
Sure.
And so you have that ability to just call public safety, and they'll escort you to your dorm. That's
Yeah,
amazing.
absolutely. Absolutely. Give us about a 15-minute window. Let us know, hey, I'm studying at the library tonight. I'm going to be out. I'm going to be downstairs at 1 o'clock, and I'm please going to escort back to my residence hall. Man, I'm going to escort back to my car. Absolutely. That's a service we provide. That's a service we want to provide. We
Yeah.
want, like I said, we want our students to feel safe and secure, and that's just one of the ways we try to do that.
Yeah, I just also remember, and I don't know if anybody knows this, who, they're either on campus as students or faculty or staff or whatever, but that public safety is really trained in a way like that's like really comparable, if you will, to any kind of public safety officer will receive this kind of like high level training. And one of the trainings was also with our Stage for Change members. They came and they acted out some scenario based training around conflict resolution. I believe it was in verbal de-escalation, right? So,
Right.
I mean, and it was a pleasure. We got to train all of your guys and gals, and at all different levels, all different positions, and what a great group of people. I mean, they really are. It's a joy to work with you guys, is all I could say.
Yeah, we feel the same, and that's just something you got to understand. We're not carrying mace, we're not carrying handcuffs, we're not carrying weapons. So all we have is our officer presence and our verbal commands. And again, being able to do things with you and your students, that just gives them, it just makes them feel better about their job. It makes them feel more secure in interacting with the public. And again, they feel more secure. They do a better job. The customers feel better about the men and women protecting them.
Exactly. But I'm going to tell you that sometimes people who are on the other side They don't really appreciate, they don't really understand. They don't understand what gaining voluntary compliance means. So, for example, in the library, this was a big one that we found out when we were doing the training with you guys. The library at a certain time, you can't get in unless you have an ID. Period. End of story. Like after a certain hour, you're not getting in unless you have your ID, your shark card. Now, maybe you have it, maybe you don't, maybe you left it in the dorm, whatever. So, like, come on, though, let me in. Can't you let me in? That whole manipulation. It starts as manipulation, and then it escalates because you're not getting your way, right? And so it's I don't think that people understand it unless they're in law enforcement, they're in public safety, they're in the they're in the pub with the public, interacting with the public. The public is not easy. Can you talk a little bit about that and the frustration that officers may face and feel?
Yeah, I think it's something like I said. It's all we have is our verbal commands. If we need to get something done, whether it's a post order, like we were just talking about, can't come to the library after 10:45 once we move people out. It's just giving them those skills to help them communicate well with the public and de-escalate those situations. But on a day-to-day basis, it comes down to, I was talking a little bit about the negative piece of this and how we're trying to market as positive. No one's coming up to public safety and saying, "Hey, I'm having a great day." They're coming up to public safety and said, "Hey, someone hit my car. Hey, I just got a ticket. Hey, someone keeps, direct messaging me that I don't want to. I don't have my shark card. I'm running late. Can you, let me in this parking garage? Can I park in this space?" It's a lot of times, that first encounter is negative because, again, not saying the population's negative, not saying that it's an intentional thing. It's just you kind of turn to public safety if something's going wrong in your day, or. And again, a lot of times it's self-inflicted. That's what I tell our students. I say, "Hey, it's a learning, curve, learning environment. If it gets to my level, but I think the men and women, one from 3 years ago to where we're at now, I think they've gained a lot of respect from our community, and they give a lot of respect. We
Yes.
understand that we are providing a service. We understand who we're providing that service to. But again, they do have a job to do. They are equipped to do that job, and I think they're getting the support all the way up to the Dr. Moon level, and that's it's rewarding. It's
Yeah.
rewarding for them and for the job we do.
Um, there's a question here that I want to just kind of like ask you this question because it's public safety specific. And
Okay.
then because this was supposed to be like a spotlight on the School of Criminal Justice and public safety, I'm going to go right after this question is answered. And I'll just talk a little bit about, some of the new initiatives and things that we're doing in the School of Criminal Justice. And I happen to have a video for that too. But anyway, here's the question. It's from Natalia Small. Out of curiosity, what is the biggest concern on campus currently, and how does public safety handle it? I think that's an excellent, excellent question.
It's a wonderful question. We're an open campus. That's my concern daily. We're an open campus. We have a Broward Public Library that sits in the middle of our campus. Our law library is open to the public. We have an autism center, Broward Autism Center, on our campus. We have a K through 12 on our campus.
Right.
What's that?
No, I said right. And I
No,
know,
and we're
I mean,
and we're an open campus. And
and
our
we
job
have a hospital too on our
We
campus.
have a hospital on the corner, HCA, and so being an open campus is the biggest challenge that we face on a daily basis. Because one, we want to be inviting. That's the philosophy of the executives. We want to be inviting. We want people coming on our campus, and open to the population. But with that being said, we get some less desirables coming on campus. So how we're fixing that? This is one of our biggest initiatives, and it was just signed off this week. So I'm very excited to say we're implementing a license plate recognition a program, and we're going to geofence the entire campus. So I'm going to know who's coming and going around the entire campus at all times. So with this geofence, let's say we have someone that we issue to be on the lookout for. I'll be able to enter that in our system. And as soon as the camera sees that license plate, it's going to flag. And when it flags, it'll get sent to our security operations center and we can take our action at that point. So I think that's step one, is just being able to know who's coming and going on the campus. And like I said, this license plate recognition is excellent technology, and it's really going to help us be an open campus, but have a little bit more control.
That's outstanding. That's really outstanding. Congratulations that got signed off on.
Thank you.
Awesome, awesome. Anything else you want to say about Public Safety Spotlight before I go to the video about the School of Criminal Justice and the bachelor's program and some of the really cool things we're doing?
I know we're new into Dr. Moon's tenure, but I'm just going to say a lot of his outlook on security it's very important to him. And so with that being said, we're getting a lot of initiatives signed. We're changing we have a lot of analog cameras, legacy analog cameras, and not very good resolution. So we're about to go through a large change out to digital cameras.
Wow.
And that's going to give us about 2,000 to 3,000 more camera views on campuses. And they're going to be higher res, and that's going to help us detect and deter crime moving forward. We have a facial recognition program we're looking at. We already have it implemented at one of our res halls, and we're trying it out now. Very excited about that. And what we're going to see in the future is eventually we're going to move from the shark card, and we're going to move to wireless card readers. And so you'll be able to use your phone to access your residence halls, the UC. And so we're excited about where we're going in the technology, as well as our personnel security.
Awesome, awesome. Just before we go to this video, and before I start launching into bragging about what we're doing too, that paddle behind you, is that used for your officers who don't quite match, match your expectations?
Well, maybe about 40 years ago that would fly, but no, that thing's staying on the wall now.
Yeah. I mean, is that like a disciplinary paddle, or is that a paddle for like a canoe or something?
No, it's an Indoor Award. So I received that at my Indoor Sector New York, and it's just one of the many things that the Coast Guard does at your tours. You get plaques, they issue little diploma things you see, and that's just I received that from Sector New York, and I'll have it for the rest of my life.
That's awesome. That's really awesome. We did a tour recently. It was done. It was kind of like arranged by and sponsored by ICE and Homeland Security. Thomas Roberts, who's an adjunct for us, he set it up for us, and we started at the Oceanographic Center in the conference room, and we got a Homeland Security briefing and all, and then we walked over to the Coast Guard there. So I had never been to that, but that was your shop, right?
What in New York?
No, over here in Fort Lauderdale, right?
Oh yeah. If you're at Ocean, when you
yeah.
That was it. That was
your shop.
I was the commanding officer there. That's correct.
Yeah. What unbelievable people there. I mean, really, really sweet and kind and generous with their time, teaching all of our students, giving them the tour. They toured the boat, they got on a boat, and it was just really, really awesome. And we're going to be doing it again. Okay. I think it's, I want to say March 18th. I think we're doing
wonderful. Wonderful. Real quick about the Coast Guard. It's the only federal law enforcement agency that can carry a gun at 18 and carry out a law enforcement mission, which it's pretty impressive. And it's the only federal agency that has 11 funded missions. And with that being said, there's only 36,000 members in the Coast Guard at any given time. There's more New York City police officers there in the entire Coast Guard. So I always give that spiel any chance I can, because those men and women, they're working very hard, and they're very, very good at their jobs.
Yeah. Awesome. All right. Well, don't go away, because we're going to come back after my little segment on the School of Criminal Justice. We're going to come back and we're going to talk a little bit about Homeland Security, securing the homeland. What does it mean, and what are the threats that are out there? So don't go too far. And we'll see Mr. Turner soon, right after this. So check this out. This is our bachelor's in criminal justice.
Stop dreaming about making a difference. Start doing it with NSU's criminal justice program. With a Bachelor of Science in Criminal Justice from Nova Southeastern University, you're not just earning a degree, you're stepping into a world of hands-on learning and dynamic experiences. Dive into crime scene boot camps where you'll get real-world forensic training. Immerse yourself in field experiences that connect you with criminal justice agencies and key industry players. Your network starts now. Explore the ever-evolving fields of law enforcement, courtroom services, corrections, and homeland security. Get a deep understanding of crime, punishment, and rehabilitation. Uncover what drives human behaviors and learn how to address them effectively. At NSU, we're not just preparing you for a job, we're preparing you to lead. Our graduates are equipped to take on the challenges of the criminal justice system within their communities and beyond. So, are you ready to make a difference? Join us at Nova Southeastern University and transform your career with a Bachelor of Science in Criminal Justice. Your journey to impact starts here.
So you can see that we like videos around here. But anyway, I'm so glad that they talk about the crime scene boot camp, because that's actually coming up February 28th through March 2nd. It's sold out. When I say sold out, I mean we've reached our maximum number of slots available for that. This is going to be facilitated a 3-day intensive boot camp. It's Friday all day, Saturday, and Sunday all day on campus in the UC. You had to sign up ahead of time. And we're actually partnering with Miami-Dade College and Alpha Phi Sigma. I'm a faculty advisor for our chapter, Omega Tau. What is Alpha Phi Sigma? Alpha Phi Sigma is it's an honor society for criminal justice. And so it's academic based. And I think you have to have a 3.2 to get in. But anyway, our chapter, Omega Tau and Pi Theta Beta, I think it is, from Miami-Dade College, the Alpha Phi Sigma chapter there, we're partnering. So we got 15 students from Miami-Dade. We got 15 students of ours coming together in this beautiful collaboration to really be immersed in crime scene technology. Sharon Plotkin, Dr. Sharon Plotkin, she's one of our adjuncts. She teaches in the master's program and she teaches forensics there. She's going to be leading that. And I mean, it doesn't get any better than that, and a certificate of completion will be given to all attendees. So that's one thing, right? Crime scene boot camp. That's new, right? So we're doing that, the School of Criminal Justice. And by the way, I need to just kind of say, for those of you who were excited and waiting to see Dr. Marcelo Castro, he was going to really be the other guest, but he's in Puerto Rico at the Puerto Rico campus, and he's doing a lot to build up the School of Criminal Justice there. And all of our offerings, our criminal justice offerings, are being offered. Not all of them, but he's working on that. And he brought the PhD in criminal justice to Puerto Rico. So I just wanted to say that. I would be remiss to not say, why isn't Dr. Castro here when this is who we wanted to see? Not Dr. Telesco, not Dr. T. But I think I could speak a little bit about some of the strategies and initiatives that we have. So another thing that we're deciding that we've never done before is a course that is dedicated specifically to mock trial. And I did that. I co-taught that. I really was more of the assistant, if you will, to our own Dr. Brooke Elvington. She is an attorney. She was a criminal defense attorney. So she's got a JD, but she's got a PhD in criminal justice, and she's our full-time faculty now. And her and I team taught this mock trial class, culminating now. So the whole semester, Dr. Elvington is teaching the students about the law and procedure. And they investigate a homicide case, and they take it all the way through to the end till the actual trying of the case. So half the group is split up as prosecutors and the other split up as defense. And it was really awesome. It was really something, not only to work side by side with Dr. Elvington, who is brilliant and an excellent educator, right? But besides that, the fun that we had, I think that the students really got so much out of it. So many of our students are looking to either be FBI profilers. I have to laugh at that one. I'll tell you why I'm laughing at that one. But in any event, they want to be profilers. They want to be, maybe they're interested in crime scene stuff. They're interested a little bit in the law. So there's like a lot of varied interest in our students that bring them to the School of Criminal Justice. And what we've been trying to do is not only put School of Criminal Justice on the map in our university, and draw attention to us because we're doing a lot of really good things, but we also really wanted to give our undergrad students specifically opportunities to network, and so and be immersed in some of these criminal justice agencies. For example, we have an amazing partnership with not only BSO, but the Davie Police Department. And the Davie Police Department invites us every fall to bring a certain number of our students to their, it's called the Community Police Academy, also known as sort of Citizens Police Academy, right? So they get to go through this 15-week course on Tuesday nights. They get immersed in what it's like to be a police officer. And I got to tell you that it's life-changing for many. And not only that, but one of our undergrads who attended the police academy, Citizens Police Academy, Community Police Academy, at the end wound up doing an internship with them. And then after that, over the summer, she did an internship and then she got hired, right? So that's like mind blowing. That's exactly what we're trying to do. And so we have this great partnership with Davie. We've done their recruitment video that we involved our students in the making of that, the production of that, the post-production of that. I mean, one of my biggest things is involving the students and mentoring the students. Mentorship is key. And I think that that's something that in the School of Criminal Justice, we do. So we have Dr. Jennifer Allen, we have Dr. Marcelo Castro, we have Dr. Brooke Elvington, and myself. And not only do we sit on dissertation committees and chair those committees, but I'd like to think, and I don't know, maybe my students can come on, and I'm not asking for any kind of like kudo or anything like that. Believe me, I'm not asking for that. But I would love to know if they feel mentored, and how important is that? Exposing our students to real world stuff, like in the criminal justice realm. So in that vein, and in light of all of that as a motive and as a goal, I also brought in this course called Field Experiences in Criminal Justice. And what they are literally field experiences. It's not a field trip. You go, oh, this is just a field trip. No, it's not just a field trip. It's an immersion, being immersed in the BSO main jail. What is that? What is it like to be incarcerated, even if it's temporary, at a jail, at a county jail? What is the 17th Judicial Circuit like? What is the mental health court like? What is it like to be in drug court? What is it like to be in criminal court? What is it like to be the state attorney? And I mean, and they get to meet these people. They get to receive their business cards, shake hands with these people, and then later on pursue internships, right? So we were just talking off camera before about, or maybe it was on the live stream. I don't remember, but we did an ICE tour, Homeland Security, a tour that took us through the Coast Guard, down to the port. We were literally immersed in a demo of what it's like for Border Patrol at the port, and all of that stuff that is fascinating to our students to learn about, right? And then again, the Davie Police come and they're going to do an expo with us. So all of these things are really cool things to do, but more importantly, it's about bridging the gap between theory and practice. It's like one thing to learn something in a classroom, and then it's another thing to walk in the shoes of, right? And that's the goal here. So that's just the bachelor's, but we have the master's, which Dr. Elvington is realigning, readjusting, reimagining, and we have the new, fresh, hot off the press, our revised PhD program in criminal justice. There's so many really amazing things that Dr. Jennifer Allen has done to improve the content, improve the course curriculum. And I love our PhD students. I mean, I love all of our students, and I'm very, very friendly with, and I don't mean that in a bad way, friendly. I just mean I feel like I have a really great relationship with our undergrad students. But our PhD students, man, they really they rock because they're the top, they're the cream of the crop. They're the administrators, the leaders, the pioneers. They're the new criminal justice system in action, and we've got them. They're our students, and they come to NSU. They want a PhD in criminal justice from NSU. So while I have the opportunity, I'd just like to say thank you to our dean, Dr. Kimberly Durham, Dr. Tammy Kushner, who is our executive dean, and of course, our associate dean, who I like to call Commissioner Gordon, to my Batman, Dr. Castro. I hope he's watching this and he's laughing. But so that's sort of the spotlight that I'd like to talk about. And Paul is going to come back now, and we're gonna talk a little bit about what's going on in our, I mean, are there threats? Is it true? What are we doing to protect the homeland?
And it's if you've turned on the news lately, it's the border, it's immigration, it's hearing, our borders are Tom Homan just being about as direct as we've seen someone in that position ever. So I worked on the border for 4 years in the Coast Guard. I was in South Padre Island, and we worked that area all the way down to Mexico. Worked with Border Patrol, and I was there at a time after 9/11, and I was there when we shut the border down after 9/11, and it was done. We shut the border down after 9/11 for a pretty long time. It was so bad.
I'm going to interrupt you a second. I'm
Yes,
sorry, because I want to ask you, like, to kind of clarify. So, what does that look like when you shut the border?
That's sending a large amount of law enforcement, military to entry points to the river, the Rio Grande River, all the way up to Laredo, and then of course, on through Arizona, New Mexico, California. It's just moving masses of troops, we'll use that term, to secure the border. And again, after 9/11, we knew some of the terrorists had come up through that area. Um, we were able to do it so effectively for a short amount of time that the cartels, when they were running the drugs, the drugs were piling up so much on the south side of the border that they were just putting them in garbage bags, the marijuana in garbage bags, throwing them in air and just putting them in the river. And what came across came across. It was so we were doing a great job there for a while.
I bet the fish were kind of sleepy and
Fish
confused.
were having the time of their lives for sure. But so I know it can be done. So we're seeing it now. I mean, we can talk about the wall, we can talk about politics. That's not what this is about. We're
Right.
talking about action. There is some action being done, and it's a time where we need it. We need it
Mhm.
for a lot of reasons. Crime is up, undocumented crime is up in the country. So I definitely support that piece of it. Human trafficking, you know,
Yes.
uh, women and children are being trafficked. I've seen it firsthand down on the border. I've seen it here in Fort Lauderdale, as well.
Mm.
So that's something.
Speaking of that,
Mhm.
aren't you responsible for rescuing? It was it a truckload, a container load? What was that you were able to rescue these victims?
There's small container ships that come, they do like island hopping and so forth, and they come into Fort Lauderdale and then they go back. So we stopped a container ship one morning. We were doing a law enforcement operation, and we opened up the container ship, and there were quite a few young ladies from China on board. They'd been in this container ship for months, and they were being brought over for trade labor, sex trafficking, and so forth. So that was definitely a win for us that day.
Yes.
I've seen it in South Texas as well. A lot of trafficking, the Families will pay to try to get their next generation here to the States. They'll pay everything they have to send them over. But once they get here, of course, they're in the slave trade, to pay it back. And so it's just something that, America's built on, immigrants, but we want to do it right. We want to, again, it goes back to, I want to know who's on the campus. I want it to be open, but I want to know who's on the campus. I think that's the same way I feel about the immigration coming into our country. Mexican cartels, again, if drugs are coming to the United States through those routes, humans are coming through those routes as well. So I think that's, people who say marijuana is a gateway drug and so forth. Yeah, understand that. No question about it. But if they're transporting that contraband, there's other contraband being transported as well. I saw it firsthand again. One time, a quick story. I won't get too deep into my stories here, but we were working an operation with DEA off Hillsborough Inlet. That's here in Broward. And I got on board we had a confidential informant. We got on board the boat. We were going to mark the narcotics, and then the narcotics were going to go up through the Midwest. They were going to track the narcotics and kind of see what the end game was. When I got on board the boat, there was an individual that wasn't supposed to be on the boat. This individual was wanted for murder, and so he was in our country, and he was illegal. So I've seen it quite a few times over my career. We know what's happening, and like I said, it's just what President Trump is doing now. He's taking action. I know it may not be agreeable action to everyone, but I can appreciate what we've seen in politics the last 10, 12, 14 years. I just appreciate the action right now.
And I think that what we're talking about here are complex issues, complicated, not easily identified and not easily solved. And if it fits on a bumper sticker, it's probably off base. It doesn't even meet the complexity and the casualties. We're not talking about necessarily the person that wants to come here for a better life. Like you said, we're a nation of immigrants, and my ancestors, came through Ellis Island. So I get it, but that's not the only one. So there's, that's not the full story. And there are people who are really in fear, who are being abused, who are being manipulated, and it's like a whack-a-mole. I mean, so securing the homeland is really important. You're the first person that I've heard. It makes sense to me when you likened it to the open campus. We want to be an open campus, but we want to know who's there. And that's important, right? We're out of time, man. I could talk to you forever. We have 7 minutes left. I'm going to bring my team back on, and we got a couple of questions in the chat. We got 10 people on the YouTube alone, and we have a bunch here in the webinar. And the other beautiful thing about Investigation with Dr. T, if I may say, is that yes, it's great if people are watching it live, but then when I go back and look at the number of views, there's a lot of traffic that's happening after the fact. So this stays on and people watch it. So I'm happy about that. So let me bring on Eddie and Annie, and I don't know if Cameron ever made it from his traffic problem. I don't see him on. So Eddie.
Hello.
Go for it. Ask the question of Mr. Turner or myself.
Mm-hmm. I'm going to start with the YouTube because we actually have 2 YouTube questions.
Excellent. Go.
So Ashley Martinez asked, how similar is a public safety officer's job to a police officer?
Good question.
Yeah, I think it's a great question. And again, we've kind of set it up. We know a lot of our officers, that's their end game. They want to end up there. So it's got a lot of similarities. And like I said, the officer presence, being able to gain compliance through verbal commands, community policing. It's a big thing throughout the country now, and that's how we operate on our campus. So it's definitely a stepping stone to get to that next police entrance to the academy and so forth. I highly recommend it to anyone thinking about that as they're getting ready to take their entrance exam or go to the police academy. Pick up a safety job.
Great. Eddie, you have a second one?
Yes. So Jorge Suarez asked, how difficult is it to deal with making a decision based on the law while also having to work with human rights?
That's a good question.
Well, I think again, I would hope that the law, for the most part, takes in the human element for the most part. But again, enforcing the law, I don't make the law when I was the law enforcement officer, so it was easier. Of course, if I'm offshore and I've picked up 6 people on a raft, do I wish that I could just put them on the boat and bring them to the States and set them up for their life? Absolutely. There's a human element, on my end as well. But I do have to enforce the laws that are there at the time, and that's just a part of the job.
Absolutely. And I'll just piggyback on that and say that, you know, that's the nature of policing and enforcement. It's the rights balanced, and that's why the scales of justice are like this, because sometimes it depends on what, a little bit of this and a little bit of that, and it knocks it all off. Clearly, Paul and I are both of the same mind. I know that, criminal behavior that is manifested in policing is, and I'm talking about the police officer who's committing a crime, whether that is assault, whether that is corruption, whatever it is, you no longer get the luxury of me seeing you as a cop. Okay. So you're not in my family. You're not part of this blue family. No, you're not, because you're a criminal. However, I also know that we sometimes rush to judgment, and we don't understand 100%. What we see in 2 minutes is not the whole scenario. And so, the people that I like to surround myself with are law enforcement and military who are the good guys. And that's who I like, the good guys. I don't like the bad guys. No matter what they're wearing, I don't like the bad guys. So balancing the rights and the law, I think it's a great question. Jorge, Dr. Jorge, who I'm going to talk to later. Anyway, he's in Puerto Rico, and he's going to be actually teaching in our PhD program. So, okay, Eddie, are you done with the questions?
Some more came in, but I want us to have a chance to get to the Zoom questions. So
Okay. So we're gonna get to we're gonna go to Annie, right?
yep.
Okay, very good. Annie, take it away.
Hello. So we've got two from the Zoom webinar. Both
Oh,
of
wait,
them.
hold on. Stop. Wait. Do you recognize her? Paul, do you recognize her?
I do not.
She's a famous actor. She was
Oh,
in
you're
the videos.
yes, you are. I do now.
Yes. She's our blue light girl. She's our
Hey,
safer
Miss Annie, how are you?
She's our
I'm good. How are
escort
you?
girl. And she also helped edit. So she's
We went through
amazing.
this whole thing without being put on the spot. She got me too.
I gotcha. I'm
Crazy.
sorry. I said it was going to be softball, not hardball. No, but I just threw one. Go ahead, Annie. Take it away.
Listen, in his defense, my hair was different, so that's fair enough. But we have two questions from Bailey. So the first one is, do you have any safety tips for students who live off campus? This is an especially important question, like as so many people are just like U Point, Rolling, all those different off-campus residential areas. For anyone just not living through Nova.
Minis. First off, download Safer Watch. Safer Watch is how we're going to communicate with you if you're off campus. It's how you're going to know about closures, openings. That's you're going to know about some weather advisories if there's police activity in the area. So download that Safer Watch. And two, if you're coming and going from campus, of course, university, very busy. Be safe there at university when you're crossing. Pay attention. Have some situational awareness. Head out of your phone. If you're on your electric scooter, so forth. Be careful at those intersections. And always when you're on campus, if at all possible, go in pairs, go in tandem, anywhere you're moving around. All right.
Excellent. And last question.
Yes. The last question from the Zoom is, are there self-defense classes at NSU? If not, should there be some offered?
I think that's a great question.
That is a great question. I think they have had some in the past, and I don't know if we've carried the torch moving forward. But it's definitely something I'm going to write down now, and I'm going to follow up with it, and hopefully we can put something out there for the students.
Fabulous. Thank you so much. And thank you
I
so
can
much.
actually jump in
Oh,
with
please jump in, jump.
Students.
I love when you jump. Go.
I got you. So there are actually I've seen I can't see originally it was a partnership with one of the registered student organizations. I think it was oh my gosh, I think it's Women Fight Club. If I sorry
Rad, I believe it was Rad.
but it
Rad.
doesn't, so they were
Oh,
partnered. So there was the NSU registered student organization, and then they partnered with RAD. But now I think they are actually offering RAD courses. I've seen it listed as like a course offering, but I've also seen it as just like a club event that you can go through like the Recplex. So pretty much if you go to Shark Hub and look up like RAD, it should come up, or check your emails actually. And I know we've gotten like in a Shark Hub blast about the RAD fitness courses. Or check on if I remember the RSO, I'll let you know for the thing. But they're definitely out there. So,
Great.
but
Okay. Thank you.
thank you,
Good.
Miss Andy. We've got a
Yes.
job for you over public safety. Thank you.
Okay. Very good. Excellent. Paul, thank you so much for taking the time out of your busy day to do this for us. And we love the partnership. We look forward to other things that we'll do together, for sure. And any last words?
Thank you so much for having me. And again, we couldn't be the community we are without you, your staff, and our student and faculty population. And I think we're doing a great job, and we have some great people. Thank you so much for having me.
Great. Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir. And thank you all for watching. Again, we thank our deans for their continued support. Please note that any of my students that are here must email me that they were here. That's important, so that they can get their credit for doing that. And also, there's a lot of offerings that I know that it was either Annie or Eddie. I think it's Annie who's putting them in the YouTube chat. All these offerings that the School of Criminal Justice has, whether it's at the bachelor's level, the master's level, or the PhD level. And we'll see you next week. Chief Chastain, who is actually an adjunct for us, Christopher Chastain, used to be with the Davie Police. He was a major. He was in charge of recruitment. And now he is deputy chief, Aventura Police Department. And he's going to talk about police leadership. And I'm really excited to have him on the show. So thank you all. Be safe, and we'll see you soon.